So it's often overlooked that e-commerce is only about 8% of US retail spending. The rest, which is about $3.4 trillion in the US, is all offline brick and mortar. But that's not to downplay digital technologies, because they have an increasingly influential role in driving that commerce. So specifically, about $1.7 trillion in offline spending is driven by online and mobile media like search. And this is what we like to call online to offline commerce. And that's where we believe AR could take the biggest bite, which is the topic of ARtillry's latest intelligence briefing. So specifically what we're talking about is AR overlays that contextualize items you point your phone at, and that's qualifying information as well as transactional functionality. So Google, for example, is keen on visual search as its next format for monetizable search. So think of it as the search box is your phone's camera, and the search terms are physical world objects. And this all leads towards the concept of an Internet of Places, which is indexed and searchable just like the web, but more spatially anchored in the physical world. Now, Google can pull this off because it has the object recognition blueprints to identify things like storefronts from its Street View imagery and other objects from the vast Google image database. So an important question is, what about everyone else? And that's where the concept of the AR cloud comes in. So what is that exactly? The AR Cloud is a theoretical entity first coined by SuperVentures partner Ori Inbar, and it's a data repository that enables AR devices to perform anywhere by delivering scene mapping and object recognition blueprints. And this essentially lets AR devices kind of recognize scenes versus exhausting computational muscle mapping them. And because the world is so large, all of that mapping data can't be held locally on one device. So the AR Cloud can offload that burden and thus allow developers to focus instead on their front-end apps and business models. So why is this important? It's basically required for all of the visions of AR that you may see in YouTube clips or conference presentations. It's required for image persistence across sessions and between different users. And that's important to unlock multiplayer and social AR, which we believe represent many of AR's killer apps to be, not to mention the local commerce use cases I mentioned earlier. And altogether, the AR Cloud is really a linchpin in getting to our forecasted $14 billion in revenue for consumer AR by 2021. So how will it all come together? The challenge is that the physical world is too large for any one company to map semantically, even Google's Street View cars. So the common wisdom is that a crowdsourced approach is best. So think of it like Waze, where devices that are utilizing the shared information are also collecting it at scale. And just like Waze, there's a value trade-off as an incentive for that data collection. And this is what innovative startups like 6D AI are doing, in their case through an API that developers can integrate into their apps, and several other startups that are working on various parts of the AR Cloud. So winding down, you may be thinking, don't we already have an AR Cloud, such as Pokemon Go's ability to deliver geotagged graphics? And the answer is that there are sort of many AR clouds that are proprietary, and that's great, but to truly unlock a robust ecosystem of AR experiences, the AR cloud we need will be more federated. And there are lots of questions such as who will own the AR cloud, and we believe it will operate sort of like the web in that there are protocols and standards that enable interoperability, but within that there will be ownership of individual digital assets, and their governance could happen through consortiums or even a tokenized approach such as blockchain. And there are several question marks, but one thing we do know for sure is that the AR cloud will be the key enabler in a true AR economy and an Internet of Places.